Good day to those who are watching. My name is Try to Thrive, and today I'll be going over my own personal list for Planet Zoo. This list will be about the 9 best things we've seen about Planet Zoo so far. Why now? And why 9? Well, we've seen so much about Planet Zoo so far, and it looks phenomenal. And there's still a lot of things we haven't seen, and hopefully with news coming soon, I figured it'd just be a good time to do it. I know other people have done a list similar to this, and I just figured I'd get my own opinion out there. It's worth it. Also, why 9? Because why not? There's just so many good things, I couldn't narrow it down to 5. I just had to mention other things. By that, I also mean, I'm not talking about... I'm being sort of specific about my choices. So I'm not going to say, oh, animals are the best things in Planet Zoo. Like, specifically, what about the animals? The climbing, the noises, you know? So, but also not super specific, like, oh, that concrete wall is so the best thing ever. Why don't we just give it a prize? No. That's, I mean, who would do that? But I'm just trying to get across the point of how specific I'm being. So without further ado, I'd like to begin. In my personal opinion, the 9 best things we've seen about Planet Zoo so far. Number 9. Vehicles are number 9, and they're pretty much the perfect, most unnecessary thing for a zoo. They're just... Okay, so for the game, if you don't know, we've seen the safari truck and the classic zoo train. Now, both these things will be customizable through color, and apparently, from what they said during the E3 gameplay demo, you'll be able to change the look of it, like not just color-wise. She said something that basically meant that. Only because, I mean, since there's going to be way less vehicles than there is in Planet Coaster, I think they're going to give even more control to it. Either way, though, both have looked really good for the game so far. I think the Zoo Train I prefer more. It looks, I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. They're both truly, so far, pretty much just as good as they need to be things for Planet Coaster. I mean, I can't think of anything else like how they could improve it. Maybe more vehicle-wise. Golf carts was an idea of mine. I figured, I was wondering if keepers would actually walk around the zoo. I mean, obviously they will, but are they like to get to one part of the zoo to the other really fast? Are they going to do that? Probably just going to walk, but golf carts, like a zoo-colored golf cart would be kind of cool, right? At least that's just my opinion. You can choose the different skins, like it'd be like one would be tiger skin, the other one would be who knows what skin. Just an idea. But so far, the train and the safari truck are great, with hopes that there'll be other vehicles. And yeah, in my opinion, I think it's one of the best things in Planet Zoo so far. Number 8. Vivariums. So, vivariums, to me, are one of the key things when it comes to zoos. So the fact that Frontier took it very seriously, and it shows, from what we've seen, is truly just awesome. I mean, oh man, I can't wait to build things like reptile houses and insectoriums, because so far we know the lesser Antillean iguana, for sure, we've seen it, and the Brazilian wandering spider was confirmed through articles, which also probably means it's going to be part of the vivariums. It's just how it works. So it's going to, so far we know for reptiles and invertebrates, we can almost entirely assume right now, amphibians as well. So basically, just the pure idea of Frontier doing this, and sorry, take that back. The pure idea that Frontier have done this, and what we've from what we've seen of it, it's really well done. You can go inside the tanks, and so far we've seen one type of tank. It's very large, and you can customize the light bulbs, the temperature, what rocks and sticks are in there, and it's just really cool. It's very clever. It's a perfect way of doing it, while also having the animals most likely move around inside the tanks, and also, apparently from what they said, being able to breed, and we'll still have to manage these animals as well. I mean, I reckon it'll be less, but it's just still so awesome that they decided to do this. They didn't give up. They gave us vivariums, and so far, from what we're seeing, it is really good. The only reason why it might not be as high on this list is purely because, well, it's as much as cool as the customization is, it is not like 100% customizable. Then again, we haven't seen everything yet, and just from what we saw, you can customize bits in the inside, which is still good. It's just not great. You know, I would have loved to like completely design the landscape in there. I mean, it's just a tiny tank, but just like raising up the little hill in the corner or dipping down for a little bit of water. I mean, for all we know, maybe we can do that. But from what we've seen, it appears that you just can add in and out little bits of things, and that's totally fine. It's just not the most realistic. It works, and I still am really happy to have it. But yeah, I think that vivariums are one of the best things in Planet Zoo so far. Number 7. Underwater viewing. Well, thankfully, there is going to be underwater viewing in Planet Zoo, and we actually completely got a perfect screenshot of it that showed us the best look of it. I'm probably seeing it right now. Underwater viewing is one of the essentials in zoos. It's perfect for semi-aquatic animals and also completely aquatic, even though we won't be getting any of those. So perfect for semi-aquatic, as we've already seen the hippopotamus. We know pygmy hippos will be in. I think that's it. I mean, we'll see other animals swim, but okay, there's only one downside to the underwater viewing. It's that the animals won't actually be underwater. From what we can see, it appears that the animals just swim atop the water. And that kind of stinks. I mean, it's okay. I understand why most of them do. I mean, most of them would. I mean, you wouldn't see a springbok just dive underneath the water. I mean, that's just not. Oh, I mean, it's not impossible, but you wouldn't see that. But the things like hippos, why couldn't they just, I don't know, worked maybe a little bit harder to add it in? I mean, it's fine. If the animals are just going to swim atop the water, at least for underwater viewing, we'll see their legs. Yeah. Other than that, though, from the picture we saw, the underwater viewing looks crystal clear and just great. It's just a shame the animals won't cooperate with it as well, and that's the only downfall to it. But other than that, though, I'm just so... I mean, it was a good thing they confirmed it soon, because that would have been one of the biggest questions. And luckily, the answer is yes. Number 6. Weather will be in Planet Zoo, and from what we can see, it's really good. We've seen snow, rain, on the atmospheric conditions tab that you could spot in the E3 gameplay demo. I also saw cloudy, so I guess, I mean, who doesn't want it just cloudy? Just everyone loves clouds. Anyway, basically, thank gosh there's weather in the game, and it's really good because it's done by Frontier. It's perfect. I mean, zoos deal with weather all the time. I mean, from the ones I already mentioned appear to be the only ones in the game. I could be wrong about that. I mean, they might just be hiding some of them. Things like hail will be kind of cool, and lightning storm. I mean, I didn't. Sorry, I'm so bad at talking sometimes. I didn't see a lightning storm symbol, which kind of surprises me. I mean, I imagine at least some sort of damage. I suppose none of the weather conditions we've seen can cause damage. Maybe not physically, but perhaps mentally. Oh well. Basically, weather looks really good so far. We've seen it in action multiple times. And yeah, I mean, whatever way can we go about it? Weather is in Planet Zoo, and it's perfect so far. I just hope that there might be 1 to 2 more things that can make it, I don't know, a little bit more, have a little bit more variety. Just a thought. Please, Frontier. Anyway, moving on. Number 5. Climbing. Oh yes. Climbing in Planet Zoo, from what we've seen so far, is amazing. They have put a lot of work into it. And so far we've seen it for the chimpanzee and ring-tailed lemur. Well, we haven't seen the ring-tailed lemur in action just yet, but I suspect maybe soon? Who knows? At least we've seen the chimpanzee, and it looks really good. Besides a few jolty issues, from what I can see, I imagine it'll be smoothed out, hopefully. It looks very elaborate. From what they said, even after you build them an entire climbing structure, they can even still climb on certain trees that have been tagged climbable, and even roofs that have been taggable. So they could technically, physically, mentally escape their exhibit. And you gotta watch out for that. I think that's really cool though. That's so. And they said during one of the interviews, or sorry, dev journals, they said ringtail lemurs in specific are great at escaping. So you gotta plan it out well, and that is so awesome. It feels real. Climbing in this game could potentially be number 1, but it's not because it's number 5. Number 4. Enrichment, something very important in zoo, and very important in zoos because it keeps the animals from killing themselves of pure boredom. Enrichment in this game appears to be really well done. We've seen many different types of enrichment so far, and during the E3 gameplay demo, when they clicked on one of the tabs, I believe it was Habitat, you could see a lot of the enrichment, and there were a lot. It's just like in real life. It's great for keeping your animals happy and occupied, exploring new things. We've seen lots of different types. We've seen those roller things, the meat sticks. That sounds appropriate, and more for sure. I mean, there's that weird hanging bag that the giraffes like to lick into. I mean, who doesn't want to lick into the hole of the bag? Anyway, basically, enrichment is so important, and it looks like they took it very seriously, as they keep showing off in this game. They're taking it very seriously. It's just one of those important things, and so far it has appeared to have so much variety, with lots of different enrichment items. I can't wait to see more. I know it's a weird thing to get excited about, but it's just one of those really important zoo things, only for the, well, zoos with Gold Heart use enrichment for the animals. And like I said, can't wait to see more. Number 3. Okay, so the last 3 are some of the, well, most complex of all of them, starting with the animal UI and requirements. So this isn't super specific, but basically it appears that when you look at the animal's UI, it's split into the animal welfare, which is like what I think the habitat, the enrichment, social, and nutrition. Very important things, and I think the UI has been done perfect. You have to take everything into account to make sure your animals are happy. And then when it comes to the system, or the system requirements, you can see how much soil or rocks or certain types of trees that particular animal wants. And it's just, from what we've seen, I keep saying that, but from what we've seen, the UI appears to have been done really well. I just can't wait to start seeing. I keep saying I can't wait to see, but it's really true. Everyone can't wait to see. And in this game, I can't wait to see more of the variety of UI. Oh, sorry, well, not the UI. We've basically seen it. You can request quarantine, call a keeper, move, which I'm actually very curious to see how you move your animals. You actually move them in crates, just like we saw in the cinematic trailer. Oh well. But what I meant to say was I want to see more requirements, like polar bears, for example. If you're trying to build a polar bear exhibit in the savannah, how are you actually going to be able to accomplish that? That's the kind of things I'm looking for, that kind of challenge. Then again, I would probably never put a polar bear in a savannah exhibit, or in a savannah biome, I should say, but overall, the animal UI and requirements for exhibits, it just looks really good. It really almost forces you to take everything into account. I mean, I'm sure in sandbox mode you could probably just ignore it. Like you want to turn off, I mean, it's like Jurassic Evolution where you can turn off, for example, animals dying. Just an idea, but it seems like in the career mode at least, you'll have to take it seriously. And that is so realistic. So, bravo, Frontier. The animal UI and requirements appears to be really elaborate so far. Number 2. Building interiors and staff paths. Okay, so the fact that Frontier made a decision to actually give interiors to our buildings and give them the flesh and blood that you'd hope to see inside of a building is beyond my mind. I'm thinking, why? I mean, of course, it's awesome, but that would never cross my mind. I figured it would just be the exact same during Planet Coaster. You know how it's like a black hole. But no, I mean, actual interiors. That is, I mean, the only downfall I feel like is probably going to add more. It's going to add more stress to the computer to get that all in. But oh well. Oh, flippin' well. It is too awesome to see the interiors of building finally in a Planet game. Oh, it's awesome. And the staff pass are even better. The literal idea of having it just like in a zoo, where you can keep everything operational behind the scenes, once again, just boggles my flippin' mind. I mean, then again, it does feel like something they would have had to have done, but I'm so happy they did, and what else am I saying? I don't know what else to say besides the fact that I just find it the literally second best thing that is in Planet Zoo, from what we've seen. It's worth remembering that. This is just from what we've seen. So yeah, interiors of buildings and staff path. One of the best things, but it's not the best thing. Number 1. Breeding and genetics. Okay, first let's talk about the breeding. So we just recently learned through, I believe, articles or was it an interview, that breeding won't actually take place on camera. But nothing. I mean, I don't care who wanted. I mean, okay, some people would probably want to see it, but I don't. Okay, no, I just made myself feel gross. Anyway, basically, you're not going to see animals have sex on camera, and that is probably for the best. I mean, yeah, it's probably for the best. I mean, if a little boy was playing this and his mom came and was like, "Hey, sweetie, how are you liking the new?" Holy! Oh, my bad. I was about to say. Sorry, I was about to say a bad word. No, but you imagine how would that mom feel if she saw her kid watching animals have sex on camera? I'm sorry. That would be the worst. So it's probably best it didn't appear on screen. I've just made that last minute really weird. Basically, there's no breeding on screen. It's probably for the best. I am curious to see, though, if pregnancies will take place. But still, having breeding in this game was so crucial, and so far, I mean, we haven't seen it yet. I can assume it's only amazing. That's not why it's number 1. It's number 1 because of its best friend, genetics. Okay, so this is what's effed my mind so much about this game. I've never seen a game where they took genetics so, from what we've heard, seriously. I mean, animals will have the same genetics as their parents, depending, if there's inbreeding, if something's gone wrong, anything could be messed up about the animal. I mean, that is just, it's so real! And that is purely why genetics, specifically genetics, not really breeding, is, I just want to mention breeding, it's still really cool, but specifically genetics is what makes what makes, in my opinion, the number 1 thing in Planet Zoo, from what we've seen. Of course, I keep saying that, but it is true. It's just, it's awesome. Genetics in our animals. What were the odds of that ever happening in a zoo game? Now it's finally here. I mean, I can't think of a game that's done that before, except for this, and I'm so excited to see it in action. I mean, we've only seen the outcome of it. I want to see it take place. I know it sounds wrong, it's incredibly wrong, but I do want to eventually, I'm going to completely try to avoid incest, but I'm going to avoid that in the game. Ooh. I'm going to try my best to just only witness it once. I just want to see what's going to actually happen. Is it really going to be realistic? I can only suspect it will, and I'm never going to touch on it again. Just saying. But besides the fact that this final part I've made fairly weird, I just want to be honest and say that the pure fact that genetics are taken seriously into this game is so, once again about to say a bad word, is so amazing. I mean, what else can I say? That's exactly what I would have said. It is amazing that Frontier have given us this. Genetics in our animals. I cannot wait to give them my effing money. I mean, I pretty much have. Speaking of that, I just want to say right now that when the game comes out on beta access, because I already own it too, just like a lot of other YouTubers, what I want to do is I don't plan to make a whole lot. I don't really plan to make a series like other people will. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give the simplest of stuff, and that is going to be exhibit building. So if you were a fan of Zoo Tycoon 2 and you watch videos on it, you'd see that most of the time it's just exhibit building. You know, not to point out like only like Knick Knack Gaming and Zen Nation, they did exhibit building. I plan to do the same thing but with Planet Zoo on the very first day of the beta access. Don't know what animal. I mean, I can assume it'll be one of the ones you've seen, but I'm just going to. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I think. That's what people would want me to do. Straightforward, time-lapsed exhibit building. So yeah, look. If you think I trust me. I have plenty of zoo ideas in my mind, and there's a lot of them I already want to start. It's tearing me apart not having this game right now. Anyway. Hopefully a lot of you would be interested in seeing my exhibit building, but other than that though, I want you to please like this video and subscribe. It's a strange video, I'm a strange channel, I'm not gonna lie, and this video isn't the best quality of life, but oh well, I love this game so much, and I plan to keep going with lots of news. But also, go down in the comments down below and let me know whether you agree with my list or not. Maybe what's your favorite thing they've done in Planet Zoo so far. Other than that though, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a flipping, tickling, tackling day. Because why the hell not?